我哋有5個 core competence 嘅，係第一個 policy and 兩樣嘢嘅 standard BIM standard。好啦，最經典嘅題目啦，香港有咩 policy 啊？邊個 policy？哇，咁第一個講錢 ，OK， 講 CIT 做咩嘅？目的係 OK， 係 OK， 好非常好，有 funding 俾個業界 ，OK，that's funding for the industry。其他咧？呢個唔係最主要嘅，其實 OK， 不過呢個係一個 policy， 唔係最主要。最主要點啊？即係幾時啊？BIM 要點啊？BIM 係 construction OK construction BIM 今年開始啦，係啦 ，BIM is part of the contract。OK，anything else？第一個應該要講2018年1月1號係啦 ，BIM mandate 㗎啦，所有即係 civil 即係政府嘅 project 係啦，2018年嘅1月1號係啦，咁呢個最緊要係呢一即係最經典啦，冇錯啦。人咧，人方面咧 ，how about people on the policy？ CBM, every project should have CCBM, CBC. Right. Okay. Very nice. Okay. How about the standards? So, what sort of standards? What's a CICBM standard for general use? Yes. How about government? Government side? 咩 guideline 啊？即係講咗啦，CICBM guideline harmonization guideline from the government side. Okay. What about one is for general use for the industry is CIC one. So the government one, collectively we call it harmonizing guideline, and then in another level, higher level, international level standard 19650. Yes, 19650. Okay, ISO standard. Okay, how about any department guidelines? Yes, can you quote some examples? Department guidelines? A lot. So quote some. Sorry. EMSD, BIM AM, yeah, asset management. Yes. Lands department. Okay, lands department. 好似冇講過。Okay, lands department. Which one? Which one you can quote? Lands department. I cannot recall this lands department guideline issue. Lands department issued the 3D model platform, right? But it's not a guideline at all. I hope they can have, which is on the GIS and BIM. Okay, but no, they haven't. Okay, any other departmental guidelines? So say. Strategic planning, yes, 2 of them. One is on GBP, one is on other submission other than GBP. So yes, yeah, very good. So yeah, from BD, EMSC, BD, anything else? So we have housing have a guideline, yes. Housing have a guideline. CEDD have, DSD, WSD, they all have. All right. Okay. So that's good. Now, so the first core competency, right? Policy, BIM policy and standard. Okay, I'm not going to repeat any further. All right. So the second core competency that we just touched on, BIM software and technologies. Okay, so I just always remind you which core competency we are on, so that you know all our teaching, all the material, all the examination questions will be within these 5 core competencies, right? Okay, software. We won't ask you how to operate a software. We won't, definitely won't, right? But we are looking from the management point of view, okay, on the software. So say for example, what sort of BIM software is available? What sort of? I'm not asking for which brand. What sort of BIM software? What kind of software? So we have design authoring software. What else? We mentioned last time. Design authoring, which from nothing we build a model. So that's called design modeling. That's authorizing, design authorizing. Collaboration, such as Navisworks, we collaborate. Yes. So viewing softwares, core and analytical softwares, game engine for visualization. Yes. Huh? Automation. Yes. Automation. Yes. It helps the efficiency. Yes, this is automation software. Yes. So there's a different kind of BIM software and working on the different area of the whole BIM process. It is not just 1 or 2 softwares. Yeah, very good. Okay, so all right. So last time we mentioned about the characteristics of the BIM software. Okay, let me just make a copy of this. We haven't finished yet on this part. So we mentioned about BIM software. We do not have the backward compatibilities. We have issues on the versioning. We have the issue on the upgrading issues. And then it is object specific and also discipline specific, right? Now, these are the characteristics, some of the characteristics of the BIM software. Now we keep on. I keep on emphasizing that the fact that you, as a BIM manager, how you manage the process. So when we talk about, there are a lot of stakeholders around, a lot of people in a project, in the design phase, in the construction phase, in the operation phase. They all have to use softwares dealing with digital information. So the role of BIM manager is actually to facilitate the whole BIM process. How do you treat the digital information? How can you ensure the digital information is correct? Done by whom? Has it been checked by someone else? Are the digital information in accordance to the standard that's specified? All right. So that is the role of the BIM manager. Now, if I just repeat a little bit, now say for example the backward compatibility, you cannot save a version back into a previous version. You cannot do that. So that you as a BIM manager already face a lot of challenges. For example, I mentioned last time. So if you have a currently run on a latest version, then someone else does not have that version. You cannot save it back. What's your choice? You don't have a choice. Someone else using an old version, but now you have a latest data. So that parties, they have to use the latest version. Now this is one aspect. On the other hand, if you're running a project on a certain version, all of a sudden someone else in your team upgrade his version. So the rest of the team cannot read that. Now it's a simple action like this, right? But already troublesome enough. That already presents a lot of challenge for the BIM manager. All right. If you say if someone upgrade his or her version without the capability of saving back, or without if you can't have a backup or something, if he or she accidentally upgrade a version, and then what? And then what? You have 100 people working on the project. Just one of the guys upgrade his version. What's the choice? The rest of 99 people has to upgrade. And that upgrading will take you a long time. So that is already the implications. Now, so you as a BIM manager, how do you prevent this from happening? Okay, so this is BIM management. How you manage the process to ensure everybody work on the same pace. All right, so that becomes really the challenge. It's not how you operate the software. Okay, this course will not teach you how to operate the software, but how you see all these problems. All right, now if you are already in here, now let's continue. Take a look on the what other characteristics. Okay, you just open a file on your desktop, Revit 2024. Okay, let's continue on some of the characteristics. Now I'm using Revit as an example. As I mentioned last time, over the last 20, 30 years, the area in the whole idea, the whole operation in the BIM authoring software basically has not been changed. It's always like that. Okay. So I'm using Revit to do the illustration, but it can apply to all the other BIM software as well, BIM authoring software. All right, now if you are okay with this, now you can open up the file, open triangle. Don't open, open the triangle here, the triangle sample projects. Okay, open up the RA2024 RAC advanced sample project. Okay, let's continue looking at this software. All right, you open this file. Right. Now, this is of course, this is an architectural file here. Can you roll to the bottom? Did I ask you to take it to flip and look at the bottom before? Yeah, you're already right. Okay. Now, if you look at the it's a simple building, a simple project in here. On the right hand side or your left hand side, doesn't matter. Under project browser, Now, you can see the English names: floor plan, ceiling plan, 3D views, elevation, sections, rendering, drafting view, walkthrough. Okay, walkthrough in Hong Kong we call it animations, all right? Animations, area plan. So do you know what is area plan? What's it for? No, it's not only top view. Top view is plan. Room area, you can get it from the floor plan. Not about room size. This is for GBP. The calculation general for the architects, we calculate the area, not the room size, but all the overall area, all the mathematical calculations is under here, area plans. So the consultant and architects need to use this. All right, not contractor. Okay, but architect definitely need to use this area plan. Okay, legends, schedules, and sheets. Now, all these names, I think you all understand what that means. Okay. Now again, let me ask you a silly question. What is a typical file size in AutoCAD? Just a one file. What's the size? Roughly? You should know, right? Last time you told me that you're running on the AutoCAD drawing. So just one file, DWG file. What is the size? No idea? Anyone? Okay, you guys are all managers, right? You don't care about all these technical things. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, a simple or typically one DWG is about 4-5 meg, 4 to 5 meg. Okay, one file. So if one sheet is for one file, 4-5 meg, how many drawings are there in a project? Small project, 500, 1,000 drawings. Large project, tens of thousands drawings, right? So what is the total size if you add up all of them? So one drawing is a 4 meg, 5 meg. Okay, look at this. All the names that I just mentioned, they have everything in here in one file. Can I ask you, what's the file size of this? So all the files are in one file here. All the AutoCAD drawings in here, one file. So what is the size of this file? Can you imagine? It will be hundreds times bigger than an AutoCAD file. So what sort of computer are you using? Are you using a CAD computer to run a BIM? Okay, then the next question, the boss asks you, you got a project, how much I should allow for the bidding? So then that means all the computer you have to upgrade, you have the new computers, right? So you cannot expect using a CAD computer to run a BIM file, a BIM project. All right, so as a manager, BIM manager, the very first thing, very main thing, you need to have all the new computers for a project. You need to buy softwares. You need to buy CDE. You need to buy network. So this is one file. So imagine this is one file, everything in here. Is it done by one guy? Of course not. How can you have 10, 20 guys work on one file? It was very hard to explain before. It was very hard to explain, but now it's not difficult because your Word, your Excel can be shared, right? You can have more than one guy working on one Word file. Now, Revit has taken this on board for last 20 years already. Sharing of file, same file, 100 people work on that. Not a problem. But what is the internet speed? What is your network speed? If you have a huge file, many people working on the same file, so what is your company or your project internet provision or intranet? If you're having a site, remote site, so that then you have to install high-speed internet. You need to have computer. You need to have UPS backup, right? And you need a server. All these we are talking about different levels. 已經唔係普，即係唔係 CAD 嗰啲層次。Okay, it's not CAD level. So as a BIM manager, this is your suggestion. This is your opinion to your boss. All right. So if you are given a project, the QS may ask how much we should allow for. So what items you should allow for? You allow for computer, you allow for software, you allow for CDE, you allow for server, you allow for internet. So a lot of these consideration as a BIM manager, you need to raise these points because most of the guys they may not understand that. Okay, your boss may say I have a computer, Okay, or we have 30 computers, 50 computers. You ask me to rebuy 50 computers? All right, so these are the factors. These are the facts that you have to consider as a BIM manager. You need to tell the boss, well, you cannot use your CAD computers, cannot. All right, to your boss, computer is a computer, right? Computer can do everything, right? It's not like that. All right, so okay, probably let me explain a little bit more first. Now, this is a 3D view. I would like you to look at open three views. One is this one here. The second one is the ground floor plan. The third one is the east elevation. Can you open these three? If you open these three, and then you want to see all at the same time, So you want to lay out them on the same screen here, just like a tile, kitchen tile. So you make your window as a tile. So window tile, WT. You press the keyboard, WT. Okay. So it automatically arrange for you, WT. Now, if you want to go back to any particular view, it's too small, you do the reverse, TW. All right. So WT, TW. Now, if you look at this, okay. Now, if you look at this, so in BIM, we look at things from a different perspective. Oh, I opened it wrong. Not a ceiling plan. Should be floor plan. Floor plan. Okay. All right. Now, I tell you a story. I said to you, I started my BIM journey in 1998, all right, when I was working in Australia. When I was working in Australia, I'm using BIM. I'm not using Revit, but I'm using another software. Okay. Do you know that during those days, I was working in Australia, I need to sign a special paper with a company, sign a special agreement with the company. Why? The statement says, it is David's own intention, his own decision to set his monitor to this size. I mean, you see, as a subdivide into small thing. Should anything happen to David's eyesight, it is his own problem. It's not because of the company asked him to do so. 冇人想反應嘅你，我講真呢個故事都實笑喎。可能我98年嗰時候，公司叫我簽咗張生死狀。如果將來 David 嘅眼有咩事嘅時候咧，同公司無關，因為佢自己主動去 set 呢個 screen 咧 set 到咁細。Okay, and so I actually signed this statement with the company. It says, because when we're using BIM, so we are not looking at one shot. We are looking at different aspects of the model. So that's a necessity to actually look at this in different views. So 20 something years ago, 25 years ago, I was using a 24 screen big monitor, very big one. All right, very expensive those days. So I need to subdivide it into four quadrants like this, and work on the different area using a software, right? Now, what does it mean to you now? Basically, it means you have to use two monitors. It is silly, you just use one monitor. You have to use two monitors. All right. So as a manager, now cost is okay. Monitor does not cost too much. All right, it's very, very cheap thing now. All right. The more expensive one is what? The space. I told you this table was in a container. I need 5 people and 10 monitors in here. So where can I find the space to house our colleagues in 3 years working in a container on this table? Okay, 10 monitors. Imagine that. Now this is what a BIM manager should prepare. for the job. Okay, because of these requirements. So 2 monitors, very hard to find space. How can you arrange all these people, working efficiently? BIM manager's job. All right. Now, having said that, now I would like you to actually go to the floor plan. I want you to zoom in the floor plan. There's a door here. By the same token, if you zoom in here, and on the east elevation, you zoom in here. Now, you are looking at a door at this wing, and then this is the door, this is the door. Now, if I'm talking from a designer or a contractor point of view. Now, if these drawings were prepared by CAD, for example, so does it mean that this is one CAD file, this is another CAD file, this is another CAD file, right? We do change things. Architect, designer, we do change design every day. Contractor may change as well. So if this is in CAD, if I change the position of the door, if I shift it here, so what do I need to change? Change 1, 2, 3 times, plus maybe the door schedule 4 times. So we are doing 4 times. So same thing, we're doing 4 times. So that's why we are the most unproductive industry in the world, because we keep on doing the same thing many times. Okay, now if you do that in the BIM software, if you highlight this door, for example, you highlight this door. If I move this door, now the door becomes a arrow. If I move the door to this position, try to do that. And okay, and tell me what happened. Every single change. If I don't want to do it in plan here, I can do it in my 3D. Now all the blue dimension, you click at the figures, you can actually type in. You can type in the dimension here. So it doesn't matter whether you change in plan, or doesn't matter whether you change in 3D, or doesn't matter you change in the elevation. It is still the same thing. So you do not need to do 3 or 4 times changes. You only do it once. Doesn't matter where you change. Okay, now, so that's the beauty of BIM. So this is what attracts me 27 years ago. Because I'm an architect, I keep on changing in the design, and there's no need for me to redraw everything. To me, that's a waste of time. So we draw and draw. So imagine, I cannot imagine why people are still using CAD. Then they keep on doing the same thing many times. And we keep on changing, and they have to redo everything again. So we have a name for it. So this is called single source of truth, SSOT. So this is a characteristic of BIM software. It is a single source of truth. Now, I'm not sure whether you have heard about this. Now, basically, all the government people now, they are very much into this idea. It needs to be a single source. So the plan, the section, the elevation, the schedule, you change it anywhere, and it changes everywhere. Okay, we call it single source of truth. In fact, this is not the word that I created. If you look at the technical circular, you see that? So BIM can be served as single source of truth. So there will be only one single source, one for design, and then pass one during construction, and then later for the operation. So this is one model, and the model is a single source of truth. All right, now, so this is a keyword. You may be asked, what is the characteristic of BIM? So one of the typical answers is a single source of truth, because we put everything in that model. Okay, single source of truth. Now, it does have a lot of implications then. That means we have the different, we have different group of people. We have a group of designers. We have a group of contractors and subcontractors. So that means every single body work on their own discipline. So architect work their own discipline, structural engineer on their own discipline, contractor, 風火水電或者泥水佬、鐵氣佬. So they produce their own discipline model, and that is their single source of truth. Okay. Now, when everybody put them in that, they combine them into a consolidated model. Now, if you look at these, this is model, and because single SSOT, single source of truth, what is a plan? A plan is a horizontal cut of the model, looking down. What is ceiling plan? Ceiling plan is a horizontal cut of model, looking up. What is a section? A vertical cut. What is an elevation? A vertical cut of the model, but not cutting the model. That's the elevation. What's the 3D? 3D is this one here. So basically what it means is every single view, they are coming from the model. So we are creating a relationship. So it is from model to view. So views means, so the plan view, section, so elevation views, section views. Okay, and okay, so I come to schedule later. So these are the views. We do not draw anymore. I told you as an architect, I never been using AutoCAD for the last 24 years. I do not need to use AutoCAD for the last 24 years. But it doesn't mean that I do not have drawing. It only means that the drawing has to produce from the BIM. So plan, elevation, section. Okay, think about this. So there will be no CAD people anymore. Is there any CAD people here? So imagine there will be no CAD people anymore in your company, in the industry, in your project. So there will be only have someone who build a model. Okay, and then the model will cut into different views. Now, are these drawings? Are these drawings? Okay, let's take a look. Now, say for example, in here, if I do a TW, if I go back to floor plan, now just a few clicks. Now, if I want to, okay, can you tell me if I want to cut a section through here? If using CAD, how long will that take a draftsman to cut me a section 3 stories? How long will that take? 2 hours? 1 hour can you? 1 hour cannot. 2 hours already very few. Normal, I think it may take 3 hours, maybe half a day. Okay, something like that. Okay, if someone tells you it takes 2 days, you can fire him, right? Okay, now if I want to cut a section through here using a BIM software, as I said, because we already got a model. Now this is a horizontal cut of the model. Now you can go to the icon next to the house. There's a section mark here. You can click on the section mark, and here, detailed section. We don't want detailed section. We want building sections. Okay, go to floor plan, go to section mark, and then select the building section. Okay, building section. Now the building section, from here, one click, and then the other click in here. All right, 2 click. Now, then you create a section mark with a line in between, right? So this is same as your CAD operation. Just draw where you want to have the section, right? Now, in CAD, the draftsman will need to spend 2-3 hours to draw this up, 2-3 hours. But now you are the one creating the section. Once you create this, right click, and go to view. How long will it take? Huh? What? It will be okay. In floor plan. In floor plan. Okay, I saw in floor plan 1. The command is here. Click the command, but click the command, make sure you use the building session. If not, click on here, see that building session. Okay, and then start and end. Start and end. All right, just same as you're drawing in CAD, just a symbol. But after you join this, after you have drawn the symbol, and then right click. Okay, and then right click, and then go to view, and that already has the section. How much time? 1 second. 5 seconds, right? So you can do 1,000 sections, and easy. I never draw anymore. Using CAD is a waste of time. Yeah. It will take longer upfront. Yes, definitely. But this is not building a model. This is part of design. It's a design decision. So it integrates, there's no drafting. There's no, it is design and production of drawing at the same time. Yes, it takes longer upfront, but the rest, you do not need to go again. This is a very good point. So as a BIM manager, this is actually a very good point. Actually, this is the commercial part on my 5th lesson. I'll show you the implication. Because the BIM process is different to the traditional workflow. So cost, time, deliverable will be different. You cannot use the old mindset or use a new tool, because the new tool has a new mindset, new arrangement, and that will affect your cost. You cannot use the mindset to value a CAD process and apply to the BIM. It won't work. All right, so that's why you as a BIM manager, this is because of this that changed the whole process. Okay, now tell me, it only took me 1 minute. No, sorry, 1 second to generate this. Is this a drawing? Is it a drawing? Silly question. Is it a drawing? It is a model, but we want to draw. I want to have a drawing of the section, right? Okay, this is not a drawing yet. What is missing? Huh? No title block, yes, and this is only graphics, a lot of annotation, dimension, that kind of thing, right? So the draftsman need to find out what is this room, what is it called, and then what's the level, and what's the door mark, window mark, that kind of annotation, right? So that's why he need 2-3 hours to complete this. Now this is only graphics. Go to annotate. Okay, so if you want to add some annotation there, right? So you can see there's a word called text, right? A command called text, right? See this? Never use it. Because this CAD, the text is no meaning. Don't use it. We are doing BIM. We are doing information. We are not making text. Never use text. So we are not talking about text. We are using TAG, tag. Tag is information. So I want to tag all. Okay, tag all. Okay, what information I need? I want the room tag. I want the door tag. I want the room tag. I want the wall tag. I want the window tag. The room tag here. I want the room tag. I want it with area. Now these are information. These are not text. All right. So I wanted the area with area. All right, see like that? I want the information on the door, the information on the room, information on the wall, information on the window. Okay, and how long it take? Done. Why you spend the time in having CAD to drive it? And you won't get wrong. Well, hang on. As an architect, is it really that case? Cannot be that 25, right? Because this one has not been set up properly. Okay, now you only need to set up properly once. So you manage it. You manage its project unit. You manage the project unit. So the unit is not right at the moment. So I manage the project unit because the area, you see there's no decimal. You click on this. In Hong Kong, we use 3 decimals for the area. So now it's set with 0. So 3 decimal places for the whole project. Okay, and okay. It's done. You don't need to measure. How to automate this so they overlap in Revit? You cannot. But you can go to shopping cart and buy a $10 plugin. Someone else can do it automatically. Yes. You can. Huh? It's time's money. App stores. You click on this. This is App Store, Revit App Store. Wow, 咁煩啊 ！App Store 都要 verification。可能你個做唔學，你可能你搞唔到點？哇！咁搞到咁複雜，之前冇咁複雜。466仲有啊？呢個咩嚟㗎？Two step make sure you install authorized mobile。Wow, they're making it very complicated. Account name, choose a different name for the new account. Okay, I give up. Okay, basically it's an app store. You can buy an apps and then install on top of Revit and then you use it later. Okay, all right, it's got discouraged by all these steps. Right now, okay, so it is about the model generate the view. However, okay, as you said, it doesn't have the title block. Now, what I need to do is in here, if you click on A1, okay, this is A1 sheet. So you have a title block. So this A2, I have a title block in here. Now, well, I guess your drawing name will not be like this, right? Okay, now if I double click on this, so if this is project, okay, project 1, 2, 3, 4. This is architect. This is a tender drawings. Okay, this is part on plan. Okay, 2, 3, 4 slash 023. Okay, a very long thing. Say something like this. Okay, doesn't matter the system. All right, say I got this, which is a section on this one here. All right, now I just created a new section. I want to create a new sheet to put in there. So in the sheet in here, right click, new sheets. I create a new sheet. You create a new sheet, okay, A1, okay, and you see there, It's 24. So it's all automatic.
You mean that if you I insert a new text, you text inside the form for automatic rate, right?
Yes. The numbering, yes. Automatic. So it was 23. Now it become 24. If I keep on increasing the 25, 26. All right, it's empty. It's empty. Now, but the one I just created is here under section. Under section I created, I called it section 1. Now, this is section 1, right? This is something I just created. All right, now on the new sheet. So this is the one I created. So what do I need to do? Drag and drop. And this is drawing. I do not draw anything. As an architect, I don't draw. I want to design. I want to have a better design. That's all it is. I don't want to draw. And you don't need to draw. I don't understand why all these architectural firms in Hong Kong keep using CAD and draw and draw and draw. Just waste of time. Okay, we don't draw. So this is the way we create sheets. Now that's why from model, we create the views and it creates sheets. Remember the policy, we said all the plan is now mandatory to generate it from the model to the sheet, right? So the policy mandatory, now all the drawings must come from the model. So now you can see the characteristic of the BIM software. We can generate sheets. Now, this is a proper way of doing things. As a BIM manager, you have to ensure that happens. Now, especially, okay, to be frank, I know your company. I work with the company. I know your company is somewhat this way. I have to say, I don't agree to the way you guys work. So you have somebody build a model, you export it as CAD and use CAD to issue drawing. To me, it's wrong. You're not using CAD. You're not using BIM for the whole process. You're just doing the model. That means any further changes, you have to go back again. I personally, I do not agree with the workforce company. I work with big things, German, WSP. Yeah. I work with IDIS. Yeah. We produce all the sheet. We never use CAD. For 24 years, I don't use CAD. Why? Why we don't? I don't use that way? Because look, I put in the sheet. I cut this section, right? Where is this section cut? From plan. This plan, right? Look. This plan, right? I cut this section, correct? Cut from here. So in this sheet, what happened here? It is automatic. Why we spend the time to check it? I never check. I don't need to check. If you're doing CAD, then you have to check again. It's a waste of time. In plan, the section already updated. In here. So all these, they're correlated. They're all related. No drafting. You don't need a draft. So it is information, they're related information. Now the thing is, okay, as I said, we keep on changing things. Okay, now if I look at the floor plan again, Okay, let me ask architectural background. Okay, architects, you happy with this one? Does it look nice? It is not a submission drawing. It is not a PLA drawing, and it's not a construction drawing. I don't know what that is this way. It's just a just a plan. Now, if you want to do the okay. By the way, you can do with me as well. Okay, now this number drawing room name, room number. What are the areas of each? Can you click one of them? Can you click one and right click and select all? Select all. Okay, in the entire project, you select all of them, all become blue. And then all of them must come with area. Okay, area. Do you guys, oh wait, you guys don't know. Architect will know. How do architect do the area? Huh? Polyline, use polyline, and then measure it, and then get in a text and type in the area. Then when you change, you have to go to again and change again. Waste of time. We are doing the most unproductive industry in the world. Has been around for 30 years, all automatic. We don't change. We don't need to do it for the last 30, 40 years. But how come architects are stupid enough to keep on doing this stupid thing? Now the thing is, we keep on changing, right? Now this is a cafeteria here, a preparation room here, a dry store here. So they have the area, So what happened if I have now I've got a design change? I move the wall, change it here. What will change? This area will change, this area will change, that will change. So in AutoCAD, you have to do many times, repetitively do the changes. Now, okay, now I select this wall. A change, design, left, 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 left. You see look at the figures? It changes automatically. This is a BIM. Now, if I change this automatically, what happened to my section? So this 135, right? This 135. So you go to my section. Oops. It's 135. So it doesn't matter you do wherever. It is same model everywhere. So plan, section, elevation, there, view, say not join. You do not need to recreate everything again. You just have the model and you have everything. So this is SSOT. So the key of BIM is SSOT, single source of truth. Why you have a model now? You have a CAD. It is even more stupid than only have CAD. Why? Are you doubling out your work? You have previously you have CAD. Now you have CAD, you have BIM. Is it double up? Is it double up? No, you're tripling. You're doing CAD, you're doing BIM, and you have to ensure they synchronize, they keep on updating. You're tripling your effort. It's the most stupid workflow. All right, you better not use BIM then. If you're using BIM, the joint production is part of the process. You're not using BIM as a model, you CAD, and then you coordinate again. It's most stupid. So as a BIM manager, what sort of workflow, what sort of process then you should promote? So the government already said it's SSOT. So that's why I said if I were the government who actually received the drawings, what I will see is the drawing coming from BIM or come from CAD. If it come from CAD, sorry, I just reject. So the drawing should come from BIM, not come from CAD. All right, so all of these change are automatically. Okay, so very quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on these technical stuff. Now, I ask you because I know you're an architect. So this drawing here, are you happy with this? No. Okay, I want to color it. Make it color, so make it easier to see. So how to make a color? If this is AutoCAD, how do we? Huh? AutoCAD, in AutoCAD do color. you make a polyline, you make a polyline around the walls, and then you make a hatch and you change the color, right? Okay, now you have design change. Then you go back to the polyline and change the color again. All right, this kind of thing. Okay, now I'm using annotate. I want to color field it. Color field with legend. So I want a color legend. So I put it here. So information. What information? What if? What and if? If and then. If it is a room, if this is a storeroom, then it is this color. If this is a classroom, then it is color. If then, based on information. So based on room name, if I base room name, so if a certain room has a certain name, then a certain color. 1 second. 1 second. So you can see that they are the same name, so the same color. Different name, different color. So if this instruction room, I change the use. This instruction room is called instruction. You see the information, instruction. I change to conference room. So conference color. Simple as that. Why we use that? Why we use drop down now? Automatic. For 30 years, automatic. 30 years, automatic. People still join one by one. It's not new. Why? I don't know why. I change. People around me don't change. I don't know why. Because I'm lazy. That's all. I keep on saying I'm lazy. That automatic tool is there. Why shouldn't I use it? No. The government give me money already. People don't want to learn. Don't want to change. Don't want to change. As a student, right? As a student, what's our money? Give you free. If you count money, how much time my money is spending doing it manually versus you buy software, it's way more than hiring software. The salary is paid. You're paying people doing this way more, far more than buying software. Now, okay, the thing is, I keep on changing, right? As I said. So, okay, let me do this. If I put it this way, WT. Okay, I have my plan, I have my section. This section is not color, but the same thing. Annotate, color field legend in here. Based on information, if a certain room, then a certain color. Okay, it's automatic. And it's tally. And I keep on changing my design. Change my design. I move my wall. Look at the color. Isn't it should be like this? It should be like this. Right? I change the design. That's smaller, that's smaller. That bigger, that bigger. That color changes automatically. SSOT. Single source of truth. All right, so that's a characteristic of BIM software. Single source of truth. You work on a model, then you change it everywhere. We don't mix it with BIM and CAD. No need, and it still waste more time. Does it make sense to you? Not quite. Not quite. If I have every room, different name, different color, it is close to meaningless. What about this one? I added color scheme. So it is every single name a different color. I don't like that. How about based on the area? If this area, this color, this area, this color, and I click OK, that is more meaningful. A different color scheme. It's a range. You can make up your rules. So the way it presented is just a result of rules. The rules is based on information. So room name is information, area is information. Okay, in fact, if I'm an architect, this is still not good enough. I will actually use department. So the department, okay, this is quite meaningless. Okay, so I have the circulation as one department. I have a function room as a department. I have a back of house as a department. I have toilet as a department. So these are based on the room department. Okay, so everything is white now. Why? Because I've not defined it. So if this one here, the department information, this one is a function room. So this color. This one is back of house. The department back of house is this color. So all this can be automated. Depends on what you define. So it's an if-then relationship. It's based on the information. Now the way the way we present the information now is whatever we want, we draw it. Whatever we want, we draw it. It is all human interference. We want to draw this one. BIM, you need to change your mindset. You change your mindset. You use information. What information? If this information, then what will it look like? It's a rule and then presentation. Rule, presentation, rule, presentation. It applies to design, construction, everything, everywhere. BIM is talking about information, how we play around with information. The look is a result of it. CAD have no logic. You just would like to this color, you draw it. You'd like to show this, you draw it. No logic. BIM, very logical. Make use of information. Okay. Now, okay, I don't go into too much details on the technical side. Now, the other thing is, when we say this BIM, I told this before, BIM. So it is an information model. So the BIM, it is not a geometry model. It's an information model. So it is simple in the fact that because it is object specific, so they are object specific, and the information is about that object. Now that's why if you look at this one here, you click on a door. You click on a door. So these are the information. So this is geometry. BIM, the M. This is the information, the I. The I and M together. Information model. AutoCAD, 3D Max, you have the geometry, but no information. Okay? So information, I mean, they have line weight, line type, that's not related to reality. Okay, CAD that's not related to reality. But BIM, everything is related to reality. For example, you have all these finishes, frame material. These are the information about the door. Now this is not, now this one here, this side, it is called the instance parameter. Instance. Instance means this unique object has this information. But in this project, how many doors are there? How many types of doors there? How many number of doors of that type? So I have double door, I have single door, I have timber door, I have metal doors. So they are classified in a different way. So this is a timber door of this dimension. But there are same doors somewhere else on this project. Where are they? How many of them? So if you edit the type, you have more information. So if you edit the type, now you have more information. Now this is type information. This is instant information. You have two names. This is for type. You don't have the instant. Instant means, for example, okay, instant. Unique. So one object will have instant information, type information. The difference is, whenever you change here, it will affect that door. When you change in here, it will affect all the type. You may have 200 doors in this project. Whenever you change here, you will affect the 200 number. Okay, so instant information, type information. So there are two levels, instant and type. It applies to every object, everything. So it has a hierarchy. Now, the thing is, so it must have information model. Imagine if you click on something, it got all empty. They're all empty. That's no use. Or if you click on this, you have a different unrelated information. Then you got wrong information. Right? What did I ask you last time? What is missing in method? I asked you last time. Trunking. And people use ducts to pretend to be trunking. Then when you click on that, what information you got? The trunking information. Where's the electrical information? None. So people only look at the M. They do not care about the I. To me, it's wrong. Because I is even more important than the M. It looks the same, but if you've got a wrong information, then you got a problem. Especially now, BIM is now contract binding. Right? So in here, in fact, I should put a slide. So information is more important than the model. So you must have the information, and the information is even more important than the model. Right? So you can you click on, now this is about the door. What about the tree? Does trees have information? If you look at the tree also has information. What species are they? How tall are they? What age are they? So these are the information for the landscape architect, for the one who built the tree, who plant the tree. So you click on every object is its own information. Cat is only line weight, line type, no information. Line weight, line type, color, length, that's it. That's it, right? No information related to reality. So BIM, it is object specific, and every object got its own type of information. So type information, instant information. Okay, instant parameter, type parameter. Now think about this. Can you deliver this message to every of your subcontractors? Then they build they build their own object with all these correct information. Can you do that? Well, you have to. You have to. Let me show you. Okay, let me. If I can, okay, I'll show you a real project, right? This is something This is something I just received yesterday. I just received yesterday. Now, this is the airport project. So look at it from the client point of view. The client point of view, this is a BIM project. Drawing number. Okay, now look at this. Manufacturer serial number. So this is manufacturer. A floor box is done by a certain subcontractor, definitely, right? So we got a designer, we got a main contractor, we got a subcontractor. Now the client said, I need this information. These things, these are the information in Revit. I need these to be filled in with this. So think about this floor, who cater for the floor box, who cater for the carpet, who for the size for third page, subcontractor. They are expecting all the main contractor, subcontractor using BIM provide the correct information. This is what they need. So you are acting as a main contractor. If you are working as a BIM manager for the main contractor, then you have to somehow to make your subcontractor using BIM and give all this information in the model, because this is the deliverable. They need to extract information from the model. This is the submission to the client. All right. So this is not text. These are the information from the model and contributed by all the suppliers, all the subcontractors. All right. Got that? Now, so my point is, every object is project specific. They're all objects, and every single one have their own information, and information is more than model. Okay, now you accept that. Next question: how many doors are there? Is it 50, 60, 100, 200? How many types of door there? How many types of wall? What's the volume of the concrete? How many types of trees? Now you are as a main contractor, you need to subcontract. You need to find the landscape people. You need to find the concreter. You need to find the door manufacturer. Right? So they need to produce. They need to manufacture that. Who do these calculations? QS. Yes, we don't care. We give them drawings. All right? I don't care. Okay, now, yes, QS. The changes, you have VO, you have changes. So you leave the QS, so QS need to compare what was in the contract, in the tender, now what's in change. So the difference is a variation, so whatever claim or whatever VO, okay, that's awesome. Number one is now BIM project. Number two, is it efficient? How did the QS do it right now? What's the workflow of the QS? How does the QS do the counting? How does the QS do the comparison? How? Huh? And then what? Download the drawings, and then red highlighter, yellow highlighter, and then Excel next to it. You change something, you put it in Excel, do all these things manually. So you do a big project, you count something, and of course you cannot finish in 1 day. Okay, lunch break, you go outside and come back, eat. where am I up to? All right, if you don't highlight them, all right, you miss out something. Or manual. BIM, we are talking about digital information, and it is also required cost estimation, mandatory in design and in construction. That means the QS need to count number using the BIM model. How? Now, I just described the yellow highlighter, red highlighter. This is a manual way of looking at the drawing. But now you got a model. How? Scheduling. Yeah, this is the point is my next point, very important point. In here, there's one and only one way in Revit and in most of the software. We call it scheduling. Okay, so I would like you to help me to do together. So may I ask, how many doors are there? How many types of doors are there? How many doors in one type of in one type of door? What is the total number of doors? So these are the information that we need to count. We need to produce. Okay. Now, if you overcount, you count more, then you pay more, and then they become repeated. You don't install it on site. You count less, even worse. You count less, you order that, and on site you have got 10 missing. And then you make another order, it will take you another 6 months, and then you affect your progress. All right, so the accuracy is very important, and the information contained in the drawing or model. Okay, now let's do a very quick understanding of how BIM work. So we call it scheduling. Okay, now say I take an example of the door. So the thing is, the command is view, under view, schedule. Click on the view schedule, schedules quantity. Okay, click on this. And then you look at this. So it has architectural, structural, MEP objects. These are all the objects. We do doors. We can do doors. You can see the door. You can count the cable tray, count the ceiling, count the columns, conduit, whatever you name it. So all the objects in the model can be counted automatically. But first of all, you need to understand what they are. What's casework? What's this? What's casework? So this is strange English or American English. What's that? What's casework? Yes. Yes. 橱櫃啊. Okay, shelves. It's called in America. It's called casework. 橱櫃下面上面嗰啲櫥櫃. Okay, called casework. Okay, now I'm looking at door. So go to door. Go to door. Okay. So you can see available fields. In the door, you have all these different information about the door, which you can use. So what sort of information that you want to know? Cost, okay, yes, cost, but before cost, you need to count the type and the number, that kind of thing. Okay, the first thing I want to know, where are they? So they are in levels. So which level? So I got 3 levels, ground, first, second levels. So how many on the ground floor, how many on the first floor, on the levels? I want to know what sort of door are they? Are they single swing, double swing? So it is called family and type. So I want to know how many of them. So count. I want to know, okay, the height, the width, and the thickness. Okay, so these are the geometry. I probably want to know the material. So frame material, frame type, door leaf material, leaf type. Now, thickness, the door leaf, where's the door leaf? A fire rating, hardware. Okay, yeah, cost. Now before I click OK, I tell you a story. I tell you a story. My story When I was working in Australia, I was working on this project. Okay, I was working in this project. Now this project, I think it got 1,000 board, something like that. I was an architect. Now there's a senior. The senior asked me to do a door schedule of this project. Door schedule is actually listed out in kind of an Excel-like form. So which door, where are they, the width, the height, and whatever. So as an architect, I count all the doors. So I was given on Monday this task to work on, and then by Friday I got it done. It took me 4.5 days. Friday. So do you know when we work in Australia, we are kind of having fun. Every 3 o'clock on Friday, you know what we do? 3 o'clock, we stop work and drink. Right? That's how we work in Australia. So before we go to drink, I got my door schedule done, and I talked to my senior. I told him, okay, now I got it done, and here's 1,000 door, a list of 1,000 door. Okay, if you were the senior, what would you say? What would you say? Hả? Thiếu trong file à? Okay, okay lah. Okay. He didn't say, well done, David. All right, he didn't say that. He told me that. Okay, he asked me one question. He said, while you are doing your door schedule in this 4.5 days, do you know what I did? He is a senior. What he did? He changed design. He changed design. That's what he did. So on Friday, he told me, next Monday, you do again. Because I changed the design. All your work is gone. Right? It took me 4.5 days. So my life 4.5 days are wasted for nothing. Okay, so from there onwards, I decided I'm not going to do the door schedule anymore. Don't waste my time. Okay, so that's why in here, how long will it take to do this door schedule? Click OK. It takes you 1 second. It took only 1 second to do the door schedule, not 4.5 days. So we are extracting the information. Now, this is not Excel. This is a different way of looking at the model, which is, we call it schedule. So that's why it's also a view, which means that not only plan, elevation, etc., but schedule views. So all these schedules are coming from the model. So the model creates views, and then the views can actually later you put on sheet. So I am just using the door as an example. That means you can schedule the concrete, you can schedule the ironmongery, you can schedule anything if that thing is already in your model. You can schedule out. So the model can produce drawing. The model can produce quantity. Okay, quantity. How do I know quantity? So what do we have in here? We have an Excel-like thing. So you have all these headings, which level, family type. Now, if you look at the family type, it is unorganized, unstructured. It's quite messy. So you have this single flash 20 minutes by rating, which this one here, which this one here, and then which one here. It is unorganized. It's very hard to use. So this unstructured information, we need to structure it. So what do we want? We want to know how many doors. So how many types of doors? How many doors in which type? In each type. And we want to know what's the total number of doors, so that we can instruct the subcontractor to construct it. Right? So this is the work on the QS. Now, as a BIM manager, okay, I'll show you the workflow. Here. So as a BIM manager, you need to ensure the quality of the model. It is good enough so that you can produce meaningful deliverable so that people can work on. Right, so from this schedule, you can see that there are several commands in here on edit. Okay, it doesn't matter which order, there's five edit here. If you click on whatever, so you can see these 5 tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one is the one you have already looked at it. Now, if you look at the third one, this is unorganized. So how can you organize it? So the first thing I want to sort by what? Family and type. I sort by family and type. So I sort by family and type. See this itemized every instance? Okay, now you can see that it's all organized according to this column. Now the next thing is, so this is one type of door. This is another type. This is another type. This is another type. So there's different types of door in here. Okay, but now it is all itemized. So count is 1. So every single one is counted. This is not good. I don't want to see every single one. I want to see this one type. How many of them in one type? I don't want to see every single one. So I don't want to be. I don't want it to be itemized. So if you go back to here, the third one. So untick the itemize. Untick the itemize. And OK. So I got these types, and each type is number. So 63 of this type. For this good, it helps me a lot. What's the total number? What's the total? Don't use your calculator. You don't need. Okay. Now, because you have not asked it to do the calculation for you, so go back to here, sorting. Because we didn't take on grand total. Okay, but which one to get grand total? Is it count or width or height? So you add up all the height is meaningless. You don't want to add a grand total of height, right? You want to get a grand total of count. So how do you know? So grand total is not enough. You go to formatting. So this is the one you want, count. At the moment, no calculation. So click on that. I want to calculate total. Okay, calculate total of count, and then OK. Well, you've got 100 doors. So 100 doors, you got so many types, and each type you got so many. And these are the information. Now you have a very clear schedule for your subcontractor. Right? Why do we still need QS? No need. Is it? They don't need. What do? They do not need to do accounting. They don't need. So you count the volume of concrete, the number of the door, whatever in the model, you can count it automatically. Why still need QS? Oh, of course, on other aspects, right? On the claims, right? Okay, now we got 100 doors. Now look at this. If I go to here, I got a floor plan. I got a schedule. Now the schedule is, as I said, it's another way of looking at the model. It's in a table way of looking at the model. They're the same thing. What do you mean by the same thing? Because it's SSOT, single source of truth. That means if I change in one thing, then the other will change. Okay, now, as I said, I keep on changing. I'm an architect, right? So I change things. I don't need this door. I don't need this door. I delete this. And then I add in some more doors. So I want to double door. I want to here. I want to here. I'm changing my design.